said my only responsibility was to change the world, change the world. Let me be the one to start a revolution. Let me sing, yeah, my song to the people of the world.
So you've been doing this for, what, a bit over 2 decades now?
Yeah, man, I
That's
think this
a long
year's
time.
23 years that I've been in full-time ministry.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I started when I was 19, so like June of this year will be 23 years that I've done nothing but lead worship, write songs.
Amazing. It's great to see, and yet, you know, whenever I hear you speak, your passion for charity and that sort of thing is almost as fresh as ever. What is it that kind of stirs up on the inside of you?
You know, I shared this with somebody the other day. I said, you know, for the last 41 years, I feel like I've been playing with house money. You know, what I mean by that is, you know, when I told you the story of my mom, I should have never made it to day one, let alone almost 42 years on the planet. And so for me, it's like finding a way to say thank you, finding a way to say, I want my life to reflect that I have not taken this for granted. I realize I am ridiculously blessed, not monetarily or by way of material things, but just to be alive. Yeah. Just to be able to be somebody's dad and somebody's husband is like, that's major for me, you know what I mean? Right. And so when I think of those who don't have a voice, when I think of those who have not been given an opportunity, when I think of, you know, some of the children I sponsor around the world, when I think of these orphans I've held in my arms, and I think, you know, their mother disappeared. We don't know if she's alive. Their father disappeared to go work. We don't know if he's ever coming back. You sit there and go, man, I waste more resources in an hour than that could sustain this guy's life. The child that I've been sponsoring for a number of years now, I got a chance to meet him. Hi, come here. Come here. Hey, buddy. It actually seemed very immediate that we connected. Is he trying not to smile? Yes. Tell him he must smile away. This is Matsitsi, and we're in his father's home. When his father is here, then he'll come and stay here. I realize that I've had an immediate and sustained effect on Matsitsi's life. I've also come to understand that he has had a profound impact on my life. Please don't close your eyes. I'll never forget holding my sponsored child. I just prayed protection over his life and over his future. And in the meantime, I'm gonna be committed to being a constant in his life, and I believe God will honor that and make up the difference in his world. I believe you and me can make a difference now. My heart is constantly getting grinded on, man. Just worked
and
over.
The more you travel as well, the more that stares up on the inside of you, isn't it? Because you go out and you get to see so much, and so many people who are living such deprived lives, and it really does something to you.
Well, I look at it like this. I have no business not responding to the cries of the needy. I can't do everything, but I know I can do something. And so for me, if I've been given any platform, let alone, you know, the one I have been given, you know, granted, we've worked hard and we've prayed and we've tried to be faithful to what God has called us to do, but ultimately it's God who promotes. Yeah. And so we've seen God promote us and build this platform and build this new breed team and this way of doing the kind of ministry we do. With that kind of platform, if I just go, hey, look what I've done, you know, look at our platform, isn't it beautiful? And I live, you know.
And that's not even ministry.
No, you know, man, it's not at all.
That is missing the point completely.
Yeah. For me, to your question, I'll answer it this way. Amos 5 in the Message translation specifically says, it's God talking to his people. He's like, I appreciate the songs you write, and I appreciate all the stuff you do to do church, but I'm not even interested in that. What I'm interested in is justice. What I'm interested in is righteousness. Do that, and then I'll listen to your songs. And I think sometimes we get it backwards. And so for me, I'm like, I want to be active, not just artistic, you know. I heard him say, "You brought me from a mighty long way. And now today, I can testify that I believe it. And on my way, I realize he's the one who kept me. When the storms of life arise, sleepless nights and desperate cries, he has captured every tear, assuring me he hears every prayer, waiting on the answer, only to discover he is near. And he hears every prayer, for he has done great things, and I believe he's a God who always answers prayer.
Let's talk a bit about the music. This is your first project with New Breed in 5 years. And, you know, from us on the outside looking in, it always looks as if Jesus is at the center. Why did you feel the need to emphasize the fact that Jesus is at the center of this record?
You know, if I look over all the records we've done, we've been very blessed to be in the right wavelength, so to speak, like to tap into the right frequency and make announcements. And we've always done records that have a bit of a theme to them. And on this one, we just felt like, of course, Jesus is at the center of everything we do, and you know, I think if you look over just the last 12 years of New Breed being together, nobody would ever doubt that. At the same time, I think it's easy, especially like when we did Power of One, we saw some critical acclaim with that. We saw some mainstream doors open up and that sort of thing, won the Grammy and performed on the Grammys, all that kind of stuff. And I think sometimes there's this sense that well, you know, mainstream media is opening up to us, so let's keep that party going. And to a degree we did with Love God, Love People. And again, both of these records I did with 100% clarity of heart, you know, purity of purpose and all of that kind of thing. I realized without like deliberately doing it, it's easy to do sort of like metaphor gospel. It's, you know, it's easy to sort of do like this, you know, pronoun gospel, like him, Lord, God, person. You, as opposed to, no, who are we really singing about? Right. And I remember, you know, my best friend and my writing partner and production partner, Aaron Lindsay, said, "Hey man, let's like just go all out and make sure that his name is at the center." And it's funny, when we had that conversation, I said, "I've just written this song called Jesus at the Center," you know. Yeah. And what's funny is I was just thinking about this the other day. Andre Crouch, the first time I met him, I was 22 years old. And I just, you know, practically fainted because he's the biggest musical influence in my life. Right. And when I met him, you know, somebody asked me, "Is there anything you would like offer advice to Israel?" And he grabbed my hand, he looked me in the eye, he said, "Keep his name in it." That's all he said, and he walked out of the room. And and you know, when you hear certain things, it just like has reverb, like it just reverberates in your heart, and you never forget it. Yeah. And I remember when we started talking about, let's do a record that's all about Jesus. I want every song to have his name in it. You know, it's like, let's just be like dogmatic with it, you know? Yeah. Yeah. And I remember hearing those words, keep his name in it. Yeah. And I'll tell you this, God has really, 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 really blessed this project. In the highest, let our King be lifted up.
So I know you're pretty much, you know, in a different country every day. So how do you? I know you have a. How many children do you have?
My wife and I have 3 children.
You have 3 children, so it's a pretty big family. How do you, do the work-life balance thing? How do you?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's balance is that quest. It's that never-ending quest. But I'm married to such a great woman who, 18 years we've just celebrated being married. And early on, especially when Mariah was born.
How do you stay married for 18 years?
Man, it's her, man. Seriously,
give me some tangible answers. I need some nuggets.
Listen to the woman. That is my absolute advice. She's always gonna ultimately be right. So just stop fighting that.
Wow. Okay.
But when Mariah, our oldest, was born 16 years ago, we kind of had to sit down and define our version of normal, because normal was probably not going to be me working 9 to 5 and being home by 5:30 and dinner, together every night. Yeah. So our version of normal often is at an airport or at a hotel or a backstage.
Do you travel with them all the time?
I do, quite a bit, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes we don't carry the whole family, but Melissa's with me almost everywhere I go. And then depending on how many days we're out, we'll bring one or all of the children with us.
Right. I heard through the grapevine that you're about to do something pretty big. I heard that you're thinking of doing a worship CD in 16 different countries or something along those lines?
18 different countries.
Wow.
And,
you're not romping around, are you?
We would do a specific song in certain world cities, and tie some of the local worship.
And I know London is right there on number 1 or 2 or somewhere like that.
We'll probably do something.
You have to come to London.
No, we'll do something in London. We're going to do something in South Africa. We're doing a couple things in Asia, Australia, Nigeria.
I'm not even going to play. I want to come.
South America. Yeah,
I want to come.
It's going to be, I mean, we're doing it over the course of the year.
Yeah.
And taking our time doing it and filming a documentary while we do it. I mean, there's a lot involved with it. But really, the idea came about because I wanted to make sure that people understood that we're not just some rock group, that shows up and staying in big, hotel suites and, that's not our story at all.
It's bigger than that.
It's way bigger than that because we want every place that we go to have a give component built into it, to have a missions and justice component built into it. So if we're going to Rio, we're not necessarily doing Rio the glamorous. We're doing Rio where the need is.
Deserted.
And and making a deposit in those places. And so that's really our approach to this year, and then filming it in a way that shows the world and challenges the church, that says, listen, this is not about, Romans 15 is a scripture that we've really sort of based our whole ministry on, and that is, it says at the very end of it in the Message translation, Romans 15, it says, strength is for service, not status.
Right, yes.
And so we understand that whatever platform we've been given, whatever strength has come from that, it's so that we can serve.
Yeah.
And if we can demonstrate that and show people where the need is and the little that we're doing to meet those needs, and maybe galvanizing a movement of other people to say, well, I can get involved in that. That's really where we're headed.
It's beautiful. Thanks for coming on the show. And we're over right across the pond, and we are able to feel the impact of what you're doing in the kingdom, and that's really special to see. So, keep doing what you're doing, keep coming back to London,
yes,
and I hope to catch up with you again soon.
Fantastic. Thanks again.
This is Houghton on the One-to-One Show. Thanks for watching.
What if it all depended on me to change the world, to change the world? What if my only responsibility was to change the world?